are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Well, welcome to Fifth Street Soccer on the Sports Byline USA SB Nation radio networks. I'm Nick Geber along with Nick Webster. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you. Also, wonderful to speak to all of our men and women in uniform on American Forces Network as well. A big hello to them. Hope they are enjoying the World Cup as much as we are here. I can honestly say this has been one of the most exciting World Cups I can remember. Anytime when the favorites are knocked out, when it's left to the last minute, it's always super exciting. The round of 16 is set. Nick Webster, the Bet Sports have published the lines for almost all of the matches with the exceptions of the ones that were decided today. So why don't we take a look at these and see if there's any value in any of these lines that have been published. Are you ready?
I'm ready. The top half of the draw is so tasty, though. I'm absolutely terrified to make a pick.
All right. Well, why don't we start with the Saturday matches? Argentina, France. France are the favorites on this match at plus 145. Argentina are plus 253. In terms of who's advancing out of the group, because obviously this could go to a draw at minus 205 and then have overtime penalties. You know, is it one? It's one period of overtime, Nick, and then penalties, right?
Two periods, 15 minutes.
250, yes, 30 minutes of overtime, and then right, yeah, one 30-minute overtime in two halves, and then straight to penalties. So the draw would be minus 205. It's over 2, minus 105. Under 2 is minus 110, and but Argentina to advance is plus 125. France minus 145. Nick, I do like France for this match. I don't think this is going to go to penalties or overtime. I think France are going to win this in regulation. I think this is going to be a 2-1 scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to go with you. And, obviously the bookies know their stuff. And they see France as the favourites, and rightly so. I mean, this is a team, as we just said before the break, really hasn't moved out of second gear yet. Meanwhile, Argentina have I can't even imagine how much mental and physical effort they have exerted to escape a group that really they were favourites to advance from. I can't see how much is left in the tank for Argentina. If there's still trouble behind the scenes, which, I mean, there has to be. I mean, Sampaoli seems to have completely lost the plot and lost control of the team. And, once again, it all falls on the shoulders of Lionel Messi to get Argentina out. I think it's going to be a dramatic game. I think there's going to be a lot of drama, but I'm with you. France wins it, and I think they'll probably win it by the scoreline of 2-1.
All right, so we're in agreement on that one. Let's move to the next one. Portugal, Uruguay. Now, this is actually a much more interesting match right now than it would have looked at after the first day, after the first round of matches in the group. If you said Uruguay were going to play Portugal, you would have said, oh, that's easy. Portugal look like world beaters, and Uruguay are really struggling. But Uruguay, Nick, has really grown into this tournament. And Portugal, while they've got they probably got the best player in the world in Cristiano Ronaldo. And you mentioned earlier, when it comes to pressure situations, I don't think there is any doubt that this is the best player in the world. But the supporting cast isn't quite that good at Portugal. The Uruguayans have an incredible striker up top, and they also have a fairly good supporting cast and have been growing nicely into this tournament. It's a tough one to predict, Nick.
Well, Uruguay is an absolute nightmare to play against. I mean, they're street footballers. They're very cunning. They know exactly what it takes to win games. They'll win games classily, and they'll win games, I hate to say it, by cheating. They've done enough. Portugal have kind of huffed and puffed a little bit, I mean, obviously the Spain-Portugal game was one for the ages, but they really had to grind for the win over Morocco, an early Ronaldo goal. And then Iran could have actually knocked Portugal out of the World Cup if in the last minute of the game that shot hadn't skewed wide. So I actually fancy Uruguay in this one. I think it will be a low-scoring game. But Uruguay to advance and take on France in the round of 16.
Well, Nick, I'm actually with you. It's terrible. Makes bad radio TV for us to agree on everything. But, we are talking about where to place your
Okay,
bets
well,
here.
I'll say Ronaldo's going to score a hat-trick and Suarez is going to get sent off.
Okay, there we go. We'll do the prop bets at a later time. But let's take a look here. Portugal are plus 202, Uruguay plus 185 in regulation, which is interesting because Portugal are the favorites to advance, yet they are not the favorites to win the match. I don't know how that quite works, but oh well. The draw is plus 197. I don't see a draw here, Nick. I just don't see a draw. I think this is going to be Uruguay in regulation, and I think Uruguay are going to get through.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I could see a draw at the end of regulation and Uruguay winning. However, if it did go to penalties, there's something special about this CR7 chap, and
yeah,
if it came down to him to win the game, he's going to slap it in the top corner.
And I think that's why Portugal are the favorites to advance, but not necessarily the favorites to win the match. I think the bookies are recognizing that, and what an incredible player. I just have to say again, I mean, what an unbelievable player Cristiano Ronaldo is when it comes to pressure situations. Messi has his head down. Cristiano Ronaldo's head is up. You're looking at the veins in his neck throbbing, and looks like a giant muscle. But whatever. All right, let's go to the next match. Russia, Spain. Russia are long shots here at plus 597. Spain minus 162. Nick, this would be probably the upset of the century, and would also make everybody on that side of the bracket smile even more. I don't see Spain losing this, though. I see Spain winning, and right now there's actually half-decent value, by the way, on Spain winning. At Spain winning the match at minus 162 in regulation.
Yeah, there's no way Spain lose this one, regardless of how they played in the group stages. Russia were the benefits of a pretty soft draw, and Spain, they're the world champions in 2010, European champions in 2012. They have a team littered with the best players. I mean, not just journeyman players, but the best players in the world. There's no way they stub their toe, even though home support's going to be great for Russia. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful day in the stadium. The atmosphere is going to be electrifying, but Spain's going to do enough. Whether they walk away with the game or whether they just win it 1-0 and keep the ball and bore everybody to death, but Spain to win this one.
I don't think you can do that with Russia, actually. I don't think Russia is the type of opponent when you can keep the ball and bore everyone to death, because they're very fast and athletic and not afraid to stomp you into the ground as they try to get to the ball. I'm with you. Obviously, I like Spain for this match, Nick. Minus 162 to win the match in regulation time. It's 2.5 goals. The over is plus 117. I actually like the over on this, Nick.
Yes, I'm going to go with you on the over as well, because Russia have a rather porous defense. Spain, when they get their act together in the attacking third of the field, create so many chances. So Spain and the over would be a very sensible wager.
Yeah, and a good thought is, remember what happened when Russia actually faced a decent team in their group. It did not go well for them. So, all right, let's go to Denmark, Croatia. Croatia minus 113, Denmark plus 419. Denmark are a long shot on this one. Denmark are plus 200 to advance, Croatia minus 240. I think at minus 113, though, for Croatia. Once again, Croatia, I think, are seriously undervalued in this by the bookies here. I like Croatia. This is a team I think can go all the way. I'm going to take them at minus 113 to win this match in regulation, Nick.
Well, Croatia playing a European team is going to certainly ask some questions of the Croats. And as we've seen at Denmark, they might not be the most adventurous team, but we will get to have the privilege of watching probably three of the finest midfield players in all of world football: Rakitic, Modric, and Eriksson. Yeah. Could Denmark produce a shock? I'm not going to put it past them. I mean, that my heart says that Croatia should win this game, but we are talking about the last 16, and this has been a World Cup that has thrown up some surprises. If Denmark can get them to 90 minutes, I think all bets are off.
Well, I'm going to say under. I'm going to take the under. It's 2 goals. I'm going to say this is probably a 1-0 Croatia victory. It's not going to be a particularly high-scoring game, in my opinion. I think Croatia win it in regulation, Nick. How about you?
Well, I think there's going to be 2 goals in this game, and it's either going to be 2-0 Croatia at full time or 1-1. And then we're going to have the old drama of extra time and perhaps penalties.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. Mexico, Brazil. Brazil minus 185. Mexico long shot. Super value here for the upset, I want to mention, okay? Plus 654 for Mexico to win this match in regulation. I might have been tempted to actually put a little bet like that out for the first 2 matches for Mexico. But they look pretty awful their third match and pretty average. And Brazil seem to be slowly starting to get those cogwheels moving. This is another side that will rise to the occasion. As much as I want to say Mexico for this, I don't really see it. How do you see it, Nick?
Well, I think this is a great value bet if you're willing to take a flyer on Mexico, because I believe that Mexico play their best when they don't have to make the run-in. Brazil, as you just rightly mentioned, are massive favourites for this game. Mexico, huge underdogs. That takes all the pressure off Mexico and allows them to play with a little bit of freedom. Yes, they were terrible against Sweden, but that's because they were the favourites. And, once again, I hate to play stereotypes, but Mexico is better when they are an underdog. And, Brazil haven't been hitting the heights. Mexico did. Mexico showed against Germany that they are a team to be reckoned with if their A game is on. I'm going to say, Brazil, but I'm also going to tell the viewers and the listeners, if you've got a few dollars to spare, hey, go Mexico, take the odds, get the win.
I'm betting Brazil, but I'm betting Mexico. Small bet on Mexico as well. I'm going to play both sides of this one. I'm not going to touch the over-under. This could be a shootout or it could be a 1-0. I just don't know. It's 2.5 goals, plus 107 for the over, minus 122 for the under. The bookies are looking at this more of a low-scoring game. Let's move on, shall we? Last game that we're going to talk about today, because the lines haven't been published on the last games that were set out of today's results. We'll do those tomorrow. We're looking at Switzerland, Sweden. And for me, I like Switzerland on this one, Nick, although Sweden, quite honestly, have been looked very good as well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Switzerland have lost a couple players to suspension, right?
Yeah, Switzerland have, all of a sudden, it's looking a little bit more difficult for them. And, I've been talking about the Swedish team since the beginning of the World Cup, and people are looking at me like I'm off my head. But they are rugged, they're determined, and they have this cohesiveness and team spirit that has come out to the fore on so many occasions. I actually fancy Sweden to upset Switzerland, but I don't think it's going to be a game for the purists.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is going to be a draw, Nick, and I think Sweden will win this in penalties. Or will advance. Penalties or extra time. But so I'm going to pick Sweden to advance. I'm going to pick a draw, plus 203. I'm going to pick the under at minus 123.
I think that's a great bet. I mean, I really fancy Sweden to nerve in a penalty kick shootout as opposed to the Swiss.
All right, there you have it, folks. There are choices for the round of 16 matches. As far as we can get, we'll do the rest for you tomorrow. This is Fifth Street Sports here on the Sports Byline USA SB Nation Radio Network. Find us on the web for more picks, more prognostication, more analysis. Find us at www.fifthstreetsports.com. You'll find everything there for your enjoyment. All right, we will be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.